Hey everyone, I'm your incredible host Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast. In this show, we have a very special guest. I'm so excited to be interviewing this gentleman, and I'm so glad he said yes. It's Sir Idan Shpizear. Forgive me. He's the founder and CEO of 911 Restoration, a disaster restoration franchise ranked among the top franchises in the United States by Entrepreneur Today. In addition to running one of the fastest growing franchises in the country, he's also a sought after speaker, thought leader, business coach, marketing innovator, and creative manager and spiritual guru. This man is done it all, and his resume is absolutely extensive. Mr. Adan has continued to expand his own skill set. He's constantly learning, he's constantly growing. He has a passion for what he do and problem solving and innovation. And you will find out here today on the Gentleman Style Podcast show. And so I can't help but hold this man back. This man is absolutely a gem, and it is my honor to welcome him to the Gentleman Style Podcast show. So help me welcome to the stage the incredible Mr. Idan. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being here on the Gentleman Style Podcast show.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to have you, sir. It is my honor to host you here today. And sir, you are incredible. Your work is incredible and what you do. And I really have to ask, first off, I want to start here. Where are you from? 'Cause we hear the accent. Where are you from? And what's your story? I feel like there's a story there.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Israel. It's my Israeli accent. Yeah, got a little bit better over the past 20 years here in America.
It's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I grew up in a small farm in the south part of Israel, about 48 families, farmers, right? So each house had about 5 acres to 10 acres behind where we grew, flowers, cucumbers, tomatoes, apples, and on and on. And yeah, most of my childhood barefoot, working in the fields, hitchhiking to school, right? It was a small school nearby. Yeah, that's kind of where I grew up. And my story coming here was really because of a good friend. I was supposed to do something else in Israel that ended up not really working out. I knew I'm not going to go to university. School wasn't that of a good experience for me. So there's no way I will continue to university. And right after I finished the service, I worked as a bellboy and as a gardener. And one of the nights, my friend came to visit me as I'm working as a bellboy. And he's like, okay, we're going to America. Like, what do you mean we're going to go to America? It's like, yeah, don't worry. Everything is easy in America. Don't you see it in the movies? Money grows on trees. Every house is a mansion. So easy to get cars. We're going to America. And I told him, listen, I don't think this is what I'm going to do. But I woke up a day after in the morning. I called him. I said, you know what? Based on the options we have on the table right now, America sounds the best option. And yeah, so working as a bellboy, as a gardener, I was able to save $1,000. That's only what I had. And we came to America, not really speaking the language, not really knowing the culture. We just had this mindset of we're going to figure things out. And 20 something years after, it's been a hell of a journey. Yeah.
I believe it. And that, what a powerful journey, what a powerful beginning story. Because farming is not easy, right? Working a farm, working the land. Did you have animals?
No, just dogs, but just
Dogs.
like family dogs. Yeah.
But so your main it was just crops and fruits, vegetables, agriculture. So
Yeah.
the agriculture, so that's not easy, right?
Yeah.
How has that hard work, that backbreaking work, pushed you into the man you are today? How has that shaped you and molded you into the man you are?
So I think a big part of it is when you grow in a farm. First of all, you see the entire process, right? You put the seeds in, you need to water it, you need to make sure that you nurture it, the right environment, and that's part also of how we're making money as a family. So really seeing the work that we need to put in to be able to make it, right? To make money, to be able to sell the product at one point. So there is a strong sense of responsibility and then also connection uh, to nature in a way, right? Because you're seeing the entire process. So I think there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of discipline. There's if we don't get up in the morning and do what we need to do in the field, we're not going to be able to, have the cucumbers and tomatoes and everything else so we can sell it in the market and on and on. So there's discipline, responsibility, seeing the entire process. Also because as a family, we went through up and down financially. So there is a time that you understand you just need to get up and do it, not expecting that somebody is going to do it for you. So just experiencing that as part of my childhood gave me that sense of, we do what we need to do. If this is something that I need to attend to right now, I'm going to be able to do it and I'm going to get up and do it. And it's also put you in a certain situation when, sometime you're out in the field for 8, 12 hours, even as a kid, and like, wow, okay, I can do it, right? So this gives you some sense of I'm able to do some things. Like, look at me. My parents gave me the responsibility. I was able to get out there and I made it happen, right? So I think that is a big part of kind of the way I'm approaching these things today that comes up. And there is a very innate part of if this is what we need to do, we're just going to go through it and do it.
That's great. You have a heart, and you have a. I love the fact that you have something, and your parents and your family instill something in you that I think is missing from a lot of people, right? Missing from a lot of younger people, because working in a farm, you're doing a lot of work today for future results, right?
Yeah.
So when you plant that cucumber, when you plant that apple seed, when you plant those grapes, you're not getting a return or ROI on your investment now, but you're thinking long term, and it instills something in you. One of the many things I think it instills in all of us. My parents, we didn't have a farm, but we had goats. My grandpa had goats, and I had to take care of the goats, feed the goats, water the goats, and the goats kind of took care of everything else, right? They eat the grass, and they do that stuff, and they made and they and stuff like that. But it teaches you delayed gratification,
Yeah.
right? What I do today, the work I put in today, I'm not going to see it tomorrow. I'm not going to see it next week. I might start to see it in a couple months, but the real fruit comes much, much later on. But if I keep planting these seeds, if I keep toiling this soil, if I keep irrigating this land and nurturing it and making sure it's healthy, it's going to pay off.
Yes.
And that's I think that's what's missing from
Yeah.
businesses, from people. They want to build a business today. And
Oh, absolutely. And this
uh,
is, you just brought up a great point because, as part of being in is a franchise system, I get to work with a lot of business owner in the franchise system and outside of the franchise system. And what you just brought up is such an important part of building a business because a lot of people have a very short term thinking, like how can I make money right now?
sure.
Not thinking about the idea of adding value is exactly the way you put it just now was beautiful. Yeah, but I'm seeing it every day sometime, right? I mean, even building relationship with large accounts, right? Sometimes the account, if it's insurance company or other companies that we work with, in the beginning they will give you the smaller projects, right? Because they want to see the relationship, they want to see the level of work, the level of communication. And we see some business owners that say, I'm not going to do the small project. When they want to give me the big project, then I'll take it. And I'm like, no, you're missing the point here, right? Because this relationship over the next 10 years, over the next 20 years, that can really change your life. But right now, you're just seeing what is in front of you. You're not able to see the length, the relationship. So yeah, I think it's a huge one.
Is I love, despite who you vote for politically, I really learned a lot from meeting people from different cultures, not
Oh,
just reading about you, but at one point in my business career, business development, I had Airbnbs, and I met a gentleman from Egypt. And so one of the unique things that he shared with me, because he it was totally peculiar. As the Airbnb host, he invited me out to dinner and he cooked for me. He made me a whole meal and he just wanted to sit down and talk to me and get to know me. So I went and we sat down in my own house and we got to know each other. And he shared with me that in Egypt, they don't borrow money, they don't believe in debt. And I think a lot of cultures follow that same mindset, that they don't believe in that. So imagine trying to build something with, in your case, $800, right?
Mhm.
But you can't borrow money, you can't get a loan, and so it forces you to evolve as a
Yeah.
whole new man, as a bigger person. And I truly, I still admire this gentleman today, and his mindset is just phenomenal. And I think most people who come from nothing and come from that hard work, you guys are unstoppable.
I think it's because we look at opportunities from, I think we look at everything from a place of how can I do more with less,
Right.
right? That's what and over time it's become, if I speak with somebody that want to build a certain business, and he will be putting a huge list of what he needs to do to build the business, and it's really creating so many barriers. When I look at it, or somebody kind of with the same mindset is like, okay, hold on, we can start here and create the first big step without really borrowing money or bringing investors, right? And we're going to build it through sweat equity. And then at one point, yes, you need to scale the business and you grow faster. But there's absolutely ways to do much more than what most people think with much less, right? Because especially today, I mean, look, you can get any information I think that you want or you need for the growth of your business on YouTube or many other podcast channels, and it's free. And there's so many people out there, like what we do right now, are happily giving their time to share their insight and different inspiration and different tools and different things that they created to offer that and share it, right? Of course, everybody want to gain something or build a relationship or get some exposure from it, but there are so many things today that are available and cost nothing compared to 5 years ago, right? So there is so much that we can do today that costs nothing with the right mindset, as you just said.
True. So
Yeah.
true. I think that gave you your edge, right? I think your ability to, number one, to understand what the benefits of delayed gratification, taking that small client today and nurturing that seed and building on it, right? If I take one client, then I get another client, and I continue to nurture these clients. And then the second thing you just talked about is giving and helping along the way, and realizing that it's going to pay off. And I need to work hard today, from the first client to the 100th client.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to serve and serve well and work hard in business. Is huge, huge thinking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to ask the question: when you realize you had this skill, well, let me say this. One of the things why I was going down the financial advisor road, I was working towards being a financial advisor, when I realized that financial advisors can't help you make money. Financial advisors cannot help you when you only have a little bit. They can only help you when you have a lot. So, in order for a financial advisor to help you and work with you, or even take you on as a client, you already have had to have made your wealth, and then you come to them. Well, I wanted to serve people, hence why I created a podcast where experts like yourself can take someone who has a little today and nurture them with information, knowledge, and wisdom, and then grow their seed. Let's say that, grow their seed
Yeah.
into something big. And now I can come to Idan, I can come to this business owner, that business owner, and now I can invest. But I've helped you along the way. You've helped someone along the way. You've helped a client from the beginning to the end. And so that's one of the reasons why I didn't go forward with the financial advisor back. I couldn't help people the way people need help, because not everybody starts off with $1 million, right? And
Most, yeah.
so that gets rid of everybody.
Yeah.
If I was a financial advisor to you and you first came here, I couldn't help you.
No.
I couldn't help you. And so that's huge, 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 huge. What was the turning point for you that made you realize you wanted to own a business when you first came to America? Because I imagine you didn't come here with a business already, did you?
No, no, no. I came here really not knowing anything, and seriously, anything. We barely spoke the language, to a point, and I'll give that example sometime. I mean, we used to, after we bought the Volvo for $800, right? We used to stop on the side of the street and ask people what the sign said. Can we park here today, right?
Wow.
Because even just to read the signs, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had a hard time with. So really not knowing anything. So somebody was nice enough to give us a job as a carpet cleaner. And you see, it trained us for 2 days. We didn't really speak the language, but there was a big part of it that, you know what, we'll figure it out. Let's just get out there. And another thing is, we didn't really have a choice. Like, it's not like I was in a position that after a month, if I'm not making it, I can make a phone call to my parents. Hey, can you send me another $1,000? I didn't have that option. So sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is your back is against the wall and you have to make things happen, right? Plus the right attitude, plus put the past and everything that we talked about. So somebody gave us an opportunity to clean carpet, training for 2 days, and then we just got out there. We used to send coupons out, and we just travel basically between calls and clean carpet. We did it for about a year. I knew that I want to find my own thing. I want to do something. If I'm here in America, especially when you're really starting to understand the culture and all the benefits of building a business here, it's even crazy not to go on your own here, because the system is great, right? I can go to a dealership with $1,000 down and buy a car. Like, I can go to the bank and after a few months I can get a line of credit. This is, where I came from, that wasn't available. And there is more than 300 million people. So we have a lot of people to work with, right? If I build a business in a small area, I still have millions of people to serve. The country that I came from at that point had 6.5, 7 million people in the entire country. So I'm like, okay, I'm staying here and I want to stay here because I see the opportunity. I need to find something that I want to do on my own, right? And through the carpet cleaning, just because a few times toward the end of the first year, we got a call for a flooded house. We knew nothing about water damage, mold, or fire. We just carpet cleaning all day long. And the first call that we got is we just went out there, we extract the water, we got paid $600. For us, it was a lot of money. We went out that night to celebrate by eating Chinese food. It was a lot of money for us. But as I'm standing there and I'm speaking with the customers and extracting the water and on, another company came in, and it was a water damage company. And they brought in blowers, dehumidifiers, and on, and they're setting up the equipment and pulling the floors. And I'm seeing the homeowners, and he's going through an emotional disaster. And the company is just getting to sign all this long contract. House is upside down. And I'm finding myself spending time with the homeowner, trying to be like, listen, I don't know much about this, but you're going to be okay. I'm sure they're going to explain to you. So I'm finding myself spending time with the homeowners when the only thing that they do is creating this big mess. And a month after, we got a second call, and a month after, we got the third call. And at one point, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out this part of the business as well. Like, if we're getting the calls, also another part, I realized that they charge about $15,000. So my $600 now, it's nice. I'm very thankful. It's great, but I have an opportunity here to make an extra $15,000, and I probably can do it better than them because I care about the customer. Right. By the third time, we said, okay, I need to really understand how this business works. And I start every dollar that we made, we invested back in buying equipment. So a few months after, now I have about 15 blowers. I got a few dehumidifiers. I had the extraction machine, and we start to understand how this business works. So next time we got a phone call, we did the entire project. And now we jumped from making $600, $200, $300 to making $10,000, $15,000. This is a game changer for us. This is a lot of money.
Right.
And the other part that we really focused on is the customer experience. So I said, okay, if I'm going to get to this business and I'm seeing the rest of the companies that the only thing that they care about is getting in, getting out, building the insurance company, can I create a different experience in that business? Because I'm recognizing this, the people, when you wake up in the morning and your house is flooded, it's a disaster. Think about a mom that wakes up in the morning, go downstairs, everything is flooded. She have 3 kids at home. She need to feed them. She need to take care of them. She need to get them to school. Now the house is flooded. She have no idea how she's going to pay for it, how she's going to do it, how she's going to feed her kids. It's a chaos. And then a company comes in, don't really listen to her, not trying really to work with her, just making a bigger mess. Like, okay, that's not a good customer experience. I understand that these people are going through an emotional disaster. So we start creating and thinking about how can I create a unique customer experience within that market. And that's really what got us into, okay, so we can really build a business in the restoration space.
So
that's one of the turning points.
So when you first got started, you weren't franchised. You were just buying the blowers and reinvesting your money and buying blowers and carpet. Yeah. You started on your own.
Yeah. We started on our own. Yeah, we didn't even think about the franchise. I just thought about $600, $15,000 customer experience. They're not being nice to the customer. I can be nice to the customer.
So initially people were calling you just to do carpets because
just carpet cleaning. Yeah. And we spoke with the guy that owned the business. We said, listen, we want to do more of the water damage. We will do the carpet cleaning as a side thing, but we see a much bigger opportunity here doing the water damage.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huge brain. So you wanted to be, so you and your friend became your own boss. How did you?
Yeah, at that point we kind of moved on our own. We worked something out with the company. So there was a mix of companies. So we took one of the companies with us. We said, okay, through this company, we're just going to do the water damage, right? And then we worked with them something, and we just moved and we became independent. And at that point, we had some relationship that we built with apartment managers. We got some calls for carpet cleaning, and we tried to figure out, okay, how can we generate more calls for water damage, right? So one of the nights after we became independent, we tried to do everything to generate work. One example is, how they used to give the small books for management companies, right? When you go by a store and then there's all the books everywhere. So we took that book, we had a fax machine, we took just blank paper, and we wrote with a pen, we can help you with water damage and anything else that you need. Call us and we will be there tomorrow. And we just sat there the entire night and just faxed to another management company after another. We did that for a few nights. And then we made some signs that says, we can help you if your house is flooded. And we put our phone numbers, we put the signs around the areas that we live. I used to take the truck and just park it in front of gas station when I know there's a lot of traffic, and said, okay, that way I'm going to get more exposure. We just did everything to try to generate work. At that point, we average about $250,000 a year in revenue. Nice size. One of the nights, a few months in, I'm sitting in a restaurant and I'm hearing 2 guys talking about Google AdWords. I don't think it was Google AdWords, advertising on Google, and there was a different name to it then. And I'm listening to them like, what is this? Google, internet, I can put my ad up online. This was in 2003. We went back home that night, and I'm just, okay, I need to figure out this thing. And I started with Google, and can I generate the ad, and how do I do it? Took me many hours, and then I set up my first ad on Google. Now, I didn't even have a website. I just said, instead of putting the link of a website, I'm just going to put my phone number. Okay. That's it, no site. The day after, I got my first phone call. And then almost every day, we got a phone call for a flooded house. We grew the business from $250 to over $3 million in a year and a half. Now, we didn't know much about business. So you can imagine, I'm there and my business is going and I need to invest in equipment, and now I'm building a team and I have employees and I have all these things going on, and I don't really have the know-how of how to hold people accountable, how to run meetings. how do I capture all the information? Where do I capture all the leads and all that? So that was an amazing learning experience. Yeah,
That was a true obstacle. But at first, you did everything.
yeah,
You left bandit signs, you fax people, you call people, and so Google was a true game changer. And so, what advice do you give to other business owners today in how to grow their business? Is it marketing? Is it advertising? Or should they be focusing on something else? Should they be focusing on customer service and having that customer service? Which one is more important?
absolutely. So customer experience, customer service is the key. Because you can be great in marketing, but if you're not providing good customer experience overall, you're going to do good and then you're going to crash, right? Because we want to make sure that we're adding value. We want to make sure that we're building it over a long period of time. So the customer experience was always the center. My thought was always like, what's my customer is going through? How can I help him? Where do I meet him? Right? What if he needs like a different type of help or a different type of service? Can I really be there for my customer? So that's, I think, is the key. And then now we need to bring the customers in, right? Some people have the mentality that I'm just going to sit and wait until somebody is going to find my website and somebody is going to see the post that I put out. You need to go get clients, like get out there, go network, like push through your boundaries. I hated to network, right? For me, going out to a networking event is a pain. Yeah, because I used to stutter more. So I used to be very shy. It was very hard for me to do this. So, but I pushed myself, right? I'm like, I have to build this thing. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to kind of get closer to where is it that I want to be. So you need to take action. There's no sitting and waiting. So first of all, figure out that is the customer experience. That's going to be something unique about my product, right? I speak a lot with people that do construction, for example, and they will say, yeah, I just do construction. And I'm like, no. You don't just do construction. You help people get their dream house. It's a big approach. It's a big difference, right? When somebody is calling himself a handyman, I'm like, listen, you're putting yourself down. I want you to try to get into your customer's shoes and try to see, what do you mean in their life? What do you really do for them? So I will work with different businesses. I work with different businesses over time, and the different projects that I started and I'm part of, as for me, is always like, what's the customer? What is going through right now? And can we help him reach his goals? Can we create something that simplifies life? Get him to, for example, if it comes to building a house, can we get him to live in the house of his dream? So when I meet with a client, I speak with them about his dreams. I don't speak with them about the drywall or the 2.4 or the nails that I'm using. They don't really care. The same thing when somebody goes through a flood or fire or anything, they don't really care about what type of equipment I use. They care about, do I have the right person in front of me? Is that person really listening to me, really understand what is it that I need? And is that person going to help me get there? Right? So now we're not anymore in the business of water damage or the business of emergency. We are now in a business of providing people with a fresh start. People going through a disaster, everything is now negative and dark and people are upset. Can I help them see the fresh start here? Can I help them see the positive in the negative that they're going through? If I can help them see it, why they're going through a disaster, first of all, I help them. I brought some calmness into their life. I help them see the light here, right? Not just everything that they're going through right now. And then can I create an experience that will continue the kind of the fresh start attitude, the culture that we're building? This is the business that I am in. By the way, I do it through water damage, mold, and fire, right? But this is just the trade part, the tools that I'm using to help people get to where they want to get. And exactly the same thing with my franchisees that are joining the business, right? I know, I mean, the restoration business is a great business and they want to provide well, but really he have a dream, right? He want to build a business. He want to be successful. He doesn't want to be stuck in the business. He want to get to the point that he's working on his business, right? So I see it's always been for me is the person in front of me, how can I add value to him, right? And I take the same approach when we meet with adjusters or, different vendors or different clients that I work with. It's not about me pitching my services, right? It's I'm seeing a person in front of me and I'm listening to what he's saying, to his wants and his needs, and can I play a part in helping him get there?
That's real.
That's real.
That's real. And something also that stuck out to me in the early days, you worked long, arduous hours in building your business, working on carpets, and then getting enough clients, marketing and advertising. But something also in there, you shared a small apartment with multiple roommates to keep costs low so that you could continue to grow this business. That's not easy. That's not easy. That's very, very hard to do. How did you maintain motivation and focus during that time? What kept you going? Is there a young lady, a family member, or what motivated you?
It's honestly, it was actually a pretty amazing period of time. Living with five guys in a one-bedroom apartment, and I'm saying it from a point of, look, we all came here, we all trying to make it. Everybody in his own way, but it was very. Also because I just finished my service, in the army, and there, I'm with a team of people that we're basically doing everything together, right? So we kind of continue to that. So I didn't necessarily see it as a hardship or why I'm with five guys in one bedroom. I didn't really have the thoughts. Also because I think I came, before I came here, we kind of went through financial hardship. So life wasn't that glorious before that, right? So it was very it's actually, when I look back at that times when we lived together, we actually had an amazing time. We exchanged a lot of stories of what's happening with us and what's going on, and yes, girls, and going out a little bit here and there where we could afford it. But yeah, in my mind, that was exciting time. That was a time that it's kind of the beginning of our journey, trying to understand what's going on here. Try to understand, like, okay, did you go to the bank and what did it tell you and how did it work? Okay, so maybe I need to go to the bank and I will do something else. So each one of us tries something else, right? With building his businesses or trying anything else that you come here as an immigrant, and we're sharing a lot of information. We're learning from each other. So it's even can be that it scaled my learning here, right? Because it's not only me now, I'm sharing it with 4 other people and everybody's putting their insight and ideas. It's kind of like a think tank in a way, even. Makes sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense. 2 is better than 1, right? It's like you can try ideas. You can come up with new ideas from marketing. You can hey, you try this, and everybody, every day we're a little bit better, we're a little bit more, and we're growing every single day. That's entrepreneurship at its core, and that's leadership at its core. Because in order to lead, you have to follow. And so everybody is a leader in what they're good at. But you're also taking a step back and saying, I'm not the best at this. And so, hey, you give this a try, because you maybe you speak the language better, right? Because you said you had to battle that language barrier. And so maybe there's someone amongst you who's better at speaking, so they can do this. They can go out and talk to clients because their English is maybe a little better, or you're better at, maybe you're handsome, maybe you're the ladies love you. So you have to leverage that. So
Absolutely.
That's leadership. So before we are going to be right back. We got to go pay some bills with our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Baby Gear Services DMV specializes in high-quality baby gear rentals in the Maryland and DC metro area. We have a wide range of baby gear items for rent, including wooden cribs, car seats, high chairs, and more. We also offer seasonal specials and free delivery. Our prices are very versatile to cover every budget. Wooden cribs start at $17 a day, high chairs and even car seats start at $5 a day. Check out our website, www.babygear.com, www.bgsdmv.com.
Support for Gentleman Style Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers you precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off free worldwide shipping with the code GENSTYLE at manscaped.com.
Hey guys, this is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we are here in Patrick Henry Mall, Newport News, Virginia. We're actually here for something unique just inside. Something new, brand new that we want to explore together. You guys ready? All right, here we go. Here we go. Hey, boss. Heard you were an athlete, man. See you at the mall every day. We are at Patrick Henry Mall, living up, and we are talking about CBD. But first off, the normal thing that we all deal with is joint pain, back pain, suffer from everything.
Neck pain too.
Neck pain? You got some neck pain?
All the time, man. I'm getting up in age, you know what I'm saying? We're not young no more.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Bruh, CBD helps with that exact same thing. Neck pain, back pain, joint pain, all the pains, everywhere pain, right? And so that's what CBD does. That's what we're here to help you and me do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
All right.
CBD is one of the most powerful cannabinoids because all it's focused on is the health and wellness. We're talking helping people with anxiety, depression, insomnia, sleep deprivation, all provided. CBD works with the natural mechanics of your body without the crazy side effects of Western medicine. So these products are here to actually align your body and get it back right so we can actually have a better quality of life. And that's what CBD does. We are back in the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and I have this incredible speaker, this incredible man who's made time for us today, Mr. Idan, and he's here shaping the world, shaping our mindset, and shaping us, helping us figure out business, marketing, sales, advertising, and for me, that don't quit attitude, don't give up, right? Push through. A man who comes to the United States from and build something, and you know what? Too many times people complain. They complain, I don't have this. The government didn't give me this. You did everything with nothing. And you started from the bottom and you realize I can do more. And I want to help people. The more, and you realize the more people you help, that they pay you back with dollars, right? And working that way and building a business that serves people, customer service, customer mindset. What mindset shift? Because working with people at the worst part of their life, right? They just got their home destroyed. There's a natural disaster, maybe came and blown through. What kind of mindset shift did you have to do for yourself to go from working and doing carpets and an employee mindset to now a business leader? What kind of mindset shifts did you have to create for yourself and do?
So first of all, I had to, there was a lot of work that I need to do on my own way of thinking, right? Because at one point, as I'm working hard and building businesses and building partnership, I realized that I keep hitting a certain ceiling, right? So let's say my income was, let's say 100,000, for example, just for the conversation. And I noticed that, I work 80 hours. I have one business. Okay, and I'm trying to break through this 100,000 limitation a year. And then I'll open a few other businesses in partnership. And I'm thinking that this is how I'm going to break through. And I'm making a little bit more, but going back to this 100,000 or below. And then says, you know what? So I'm just going to work harder. And I keep finding myself hitting the same ceiling and kind of going down, hitting the same ceiling, going down again, hitting the same ceiling. At the same time, I'm working and I'm being creative and I'm doing everything that I do. And then at one point I realized, like, okay, what's going on here? There's something else in play. I'm feel like, okay, there's another force that keep holding me at a certain point. And then I'm like, okay, I'm reliving the same patterns as where I grew up in my house in the farm, kind of doing good and then losing everything, doing good and then losing everything. So that got me really to, okay, so there is another part in me that I need to start paying attention to. And then during the same time, when I started doing more of the inner exploration, when that thing opened up, I heard somebody says, before you're trying to figure out the world out there, trying to figure out the world inside of you. And I'm like, what does this guy mean, the world inside of me? This is the world. That's it. Right. And then I started paying more attention. And I started going through this inner work journey and looking at my mindset and start paying attention to my thoughts and paying attention to my pattern. And I'm like, why? I'm noticing now that I kind of have the same thoughts every day. And I'm kind of seeing my patterns of behavior, of a long pattern, short pattern. I start recognize this thing and taking notes. And I was lucky enough that I was surrounded with some people that were patient with me, but also saw more in me than what I saw in myself. And, wow. And when you have those people in your life, it's like, okay, if I spend more time with them, they will be kind of holding space for me to look at certain things that it's not fun to look at, right? There's some parts of us that we don't want to face, right? Especially when you understand how our system works, our operating system works, your mind will do everything to take you away from it, because that means pain, to go back to some unprocessed emotional things that are stuck in your energy field, right? So when I start doing the inner work and I start seeing the areas and the patterns and see how they start shifting just because I bring light to them, they're processing through my system, suddenly I'm breaking through my ceilings. Now I'm saying, hold on, I didn't work harder. I didn't go open more businesses. And now my business is growing and my relationship with my team is changing. And I think that my certain abilities that I have are just coming online, right? And so that was kind of a big shift in my life. And after that, once I have more space and I start feeling more comfortable in my own skin and seeing the difference just by doing the inner work, the second part was strengths and weaknesses. Now, I arrived to it from my own experience. And I'm sitting there, hold on. Now that I'm feeling more comfortable with myself and I see how I can change stuff by doing the inner work and I'm breaking through all the ceiling that I really had a hard time to break, why I'm trying to do everything in the business? Why I'm trying to get good at operation when I see that my skills are really getting out there and building relationship and more of a vision and strategy? Why I'm trying to get good in operation? Why I'm wasting time and trying to be good at accounting? And I said, okay, what will happen if I'm going to start putting more time in the things that I'm really good at and let go a little bit of the things that I'm not as good at? Because I had a team at that time. My team started growing at that time. And now I start seeing what it means to build momentum in the business. Okay, so the same thing that I'm being through, let me look at my team and see if they're working on their strength or their weaknesses. Can I be now that person for them? Because I understand that they're able to do a lot more that they can do. The same thing with me. There's nothing special with me. So when I start working with my team, I'm like, okay, I know that you have a lot more in you. Let's figure out what's really your strength. What's really your passion? What is the thing that will get you excited and creative and want to go and do it? And what is the areas that is really hard for you and you feel like you're being drained doing them? So the same process I did with me, I did the same thing with the team. So now momentum just got really is going now, right? And so that will be kind of like a second step as we're going through the transformation.
Exponential growth. He learned delegation.
Yeah.
That he can delegate the tasks he's not so good at and then work on the things that he is good at and then wash, rinse, and repeat. Let me help you. Let me help show you. What do you want to do in the company? What do you want to be? What are you best at? Again, going back to the apartment complex, you see how, and this is why I keep bringing it up. His past experiences help propel him as a leader. He took working at a farm, the hard work, the determination, the grit. We don't have grit. People just want to start something. I want to be rich tomorrow, right? Working on a farm, delayed gratification. All his past experiences all helped him in business, and now he's teaching basically core principles of business: customer service, serving people. Let me help you. Let me make your house beautiful again, because that's what he's really doing. He's not in the disaster business, he's in the beautification business. Because oftentimes when people lose their home, they're at their lowest, but then they look back at their home and they're like, wow, my house is more beautiful, more luxurious, nicer than what it is. And that takes a whole different other human being to get to that point and to get to that space. Sir, so you had a business already doing restoration. Why go into franchising when you've already proven that it works? Why do a franchise? Because you're already doing it on your own. Can you
Yeah,
speak to that,
yeah.
your thought process there?
So end of 2005 is when Katrina happened. And at that point, we had, 7, 8 trucks with a lot of equipment. We have a great team in place. And I said, okay, let's go out there and have an experience of how to work in an area that really went through a disaster, a major disaster. So we sent a few trucks out there. I joined the team a few days after. First of all, it was devastation. It was terrible to see what people are going through. It was a huge mess. But there was so much work. Like every house needed to be treated. And when we got there, I mean, you walk down the streets and people will, like homeowners will ask you, can you put me on your list? I cannot wait a month because we're all super booked. So now there is many restoration companies out there, but we're not competing with each other because everybody's booked. We even gave jobs, right, between us, restoration company. And I got to interact and I got to meet a lot of other restoration contractors. And one of the things that I learned is most of the companies are stuck between 3 to 700,000 in sales, in revenue. And a lot of the guys are been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I'm new to this country. I'm here for what, 3 years now? My business is doing over $3 million. And I'm sitting here with these guys. They know a lot more than me about drywall and equipment and Xactimate and on and on. And why there is a difference. And then as I spend more time with them, really listening to them, I'm hearing that they're really passionate about the trade itself, but they're not thinking about how to build it into a business, right? And I'm hearing the same conversation again and again. Now, at this point, I already figure out how to generate leads on Google. So when I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them, I'm asking, in my own mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is great people. They really want to be successful. They didn't get into the business to build it to 3 or 4 or 500,000. They have a dream to build a nice business. With my approach to culture, strategy, vision, and my ability to generate leads, and they know-how of how to work in the trade, maybe there's opportunity here. Maybe we can do something together. So I went back to LA. I thought about it for some time. We did some pilot, and then I reached out to some of the guys and I said, listen, are you open to do the pilot? I'm going to give you the work. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to guide you. We're going to share information back and forth, and we're going to do a license agreement. So if it works, I'll generate the leads and you're going to pay me a fee. So I did it with 1 guy and then 2 guys and then 5. And then at one point I got to 10 people. And I had 10 different license agreements, not thinking about franchise. My thought is, can I help them? Can we generate leads? Can this be a win-win situation? That's really how far I thought about it. At one point, the lawyer that wrote the license agreement for us came to me and says, listen, Idan, you're becoming a franchise. You cannot keep operating with a license agreement. There's a certain way to do it. I'm like, what do you mean a franchise? What? I mean, I knew about a franchise, but never really thought about it. I'm like, okay, how do we go about it? And now we went through a 12 months journey in understanding franchise and franchise agreement and franchise disclosure in the entire process, and on and on and on. So that's really how we became a franchise.
Out of necessity, you had to build a franchise because you were helping you were helping too many people, right? You still had legal documentation, but he really, that lawyer really helped you
Yeah.
understand, hey, you're actually operating like this.
Yeah.
You're no longer just licensing off your lead process. You're basically telling them how to start another you. You're creating more you.
Yeah.
You're creating yourself, just like when you delegated in business. Huge. How did you? I want to ask, how did you acquire the funding or the money to open a franchise? Because, or I guess you didn't. You already had an existing business, so this is your franchise. This isn't someone else's franchise that you bought into. This
Oh,
is
no.
your.
I started, our own franchise. Yeah. Finance
Yeah.
it through, I had the existing business that worked. And at the same time, so there's two things that I did as I thought about the franchise. So one, I had an existing business and other things that I got into. And because we figure out how to generate leads online, a lot of people that kind of knew about what we do came to me and says, okay, can you build a website for us? Can you do the lead generation for us? Can you help me do the same thing that you do for you? So I build a marketing company at the same time that I build my restoration company. Because I said, how can a restoration company afford good talent doing the marketing within the restoration company? As I'm building the two companies, maybe it makes more sense to me now that clients are basically knocking on my door. Can you do the same thing for me? So maybe it's smarter for me to set up a marketing company and build these two companies together, because this was 2003, 2004. We were one of the first ones here in the home service space that advertise online. So I built the marketing company. So now I have two companies that are generating profit and taking the profit from both companies and reinvesting it back into the franchise, right? So this is really how we finance building the franchise, right? And when the time was right, when we had enough franchisees, we said, okay, my goal really, I'm seeing the real value, the real opportunity is building a franchise system. This is really how we can impact and help and really grow across the US and Canada, right? So at one point, I start saying goodbye to my lead generation customers, and now move the marketing company as a department part of the franchise company, right? Because at that point, I start looking at the franchise as, okay, let me look at the business owner that start his new franchise, right? He's going to need help with training. He's going to need help with ongoing support. He's going to need help with accounting and finance, and he's going to need help with lead generation. So I start looking at the business as different departments. And I said, okay, if I look at the franchisee and I'm thinking about his journey in the first 7 years, what support he's going to need at one point, and which department I'm going to need that will be able to support him. Not only him, now we're going to grow into more franchisees. So that really was the transition between kind of marketing, independent, into franchise, and then supporting more franchisees.
Absolutely. What were some of your biggest obstacles transitioning from an independent business, handing out licensing agreements and basically leasing out your services, to starting a franchise? What was a obstacle that you wasn't expecting? It was really difficult, kept you up at night, those nightmares?
So there's a lot of process. So when you move into becoming a franchise, it's very process oriented. There's a lot of legality. We need to go through an audit every year. So now the level of organization, it's just a different level, right? And for me, I'm more strategy, vision, let's go. And now it's like, okay, we need to go, but there's also now processes. There's also organization. There is also a lot of things that coming into place. And really do better work when when the customer experience is a very important part, I think now I have 20 franchisees spread around the country. We're talking to them as often as we're talking to them. But how can I get the mission and vision really being adopted by our franchisee, right? Because I have this idea of the fresh start, and this is what we want to represent, and the customer experience. Now I need that story, that culture to bleed all the way down to the customer. Right. So if the franchisee is not fully buying and he's not communicated to his team, I'm going to lose the customer experience part. Right? So in one way, it's become very process oriented because now we need to go through everything that we need to go through. But the other part, I'm finding myself repeating the story and just being in front of the franchisees and explaining the fresh start again and again and again. And how can I get them to buy in a way that they're singing the same song to their team? Like at one point, it's not one point, I mean, it's still today, we have certain sentences on the technician shirt, right? Be the different, be the positive in the negative. Like we have this statement everywhere that we can, just to keep bleeded in through everybody, so our customers will feel the same thing, right? So culture become a very, very important thing. And I thought, okay, I mean, it's pretty obvious to me, so maybe I need to explain it once or twice and people is going to get it and they're going to adopt it, and this is how it's going to be. And then I'm finding myself that is not as simple.
Why did you name the company? Why did you name the franchise 911 Restoration? How did you come up with that?
We drove down. I have this moment in my head. It's me and my ex-partner in the business. We're driving down here on Ventura in the Valley. I'm like, okay, we need a good name to the company. What can we think about this? What we do emergency and we do restoration, right? So we need something that says emergency, 911, right? And we thought that there's no way that this name is available. There's got to be a company that already took that name, because I need to take that name now to the entire country. And no, the name was available. Yeah, wow. We thought it's so perfect because people understand 911 is emergency and restoration is. That's what we do, right? So
it clicked. Who's your best client? Do you work more with the homeowner, or do you work primarily with the homeowner insurance company? Who's your client when helping someone?
Both, right? Both. So in the industry, it used to be my client is the insurance. No, my client is the homeowner. No, my client. No, both are our clients. We want to make sure that we do best with both of them. Before it used to be, I'm going to work with the homeowner, call me, so I'm going to work with the homeowners. I don't really care about the insurance company. Well, the insurance company called me, so I got the assignment from them. I'm going to do whatever I need to do for the insurance company. I'm not really going to care about the homeowner. For me, it's listen. I don't see why we cannot have win-win all around, especially in the past, I think 5-6 years. Insurance companies are more conscious about the customer experience as well. Right. It's not something that we heard 20 years ago.
Right.
So 10 years, I think maybe even longer. 10 years ago was the first time that I'm actually sitting with the adjuster who's like, no, we want to make sure that you're taking care of the clients. We want to make sure that you have good reviews and on and on. So it's both. So we do work with commercials, we do insurance, we do regular residentials. We're really working with everybody. Yeah.
Heart of gold. What really is I had this question locked in. It just slipped my mind. It slipped my mind. How much to start a franchise? What should someone have prior to reaching out to 911 Restoration? How much money do they need to have? What do they need to have?
So I'm just going to give like high level numbers because it's all in IFDD and you need to go through the document. But let's say about 150K. If somebody have around, $60,000 cash, the rest of it can be finance. We have a lot of vendors that we work with. We have inner finance that we do. So there's different ways to get into the business. Yeah. But overall, 150, but you don't really need the whole 150.
Absolutely. Can you share a story of a customer that it all seemed hopeless. Can you share a win of
Yeah,
a
I mean,
restoration job? Do you have one job that you just, it really touched your heart to help
yeah,
you?
yeah. That was one of my first clients. That this really the moment that I knew that okay, we need to bring fresh start to people. So it was a weekend not far from where I live right now. I'm getting a phone call. I'm getting out there. It was somewhere around 10, 11 a.m. And I'm knocking on the house, knocking on the door, and I'm hearing people fight inside. The husband and the wife and the kid. I'm like, whoa, okay, what I'm about to step into. But again, for me, it was like, okay, just take a breath. You are here to serve them. Let's just go in and see what we can do. So I opened the door and just the house is a mess and they're stressed out. I thought that the husband and wife were going to kill each other. And I'm like, okay, we are here. I start talking to the husband, start talking to the wife, took my time before I even brought my team inside to do the work. And probably 10, 15 minutes in, everybody like, okay, they came down a little bit. Now we can actually talk to them and try to see how are we going to get this project done. I end up spending there a few days. And yeah, we finished the job. Everything worked great. Then I think a week after, I'm getting a phone call. I'm answering, is the husband. I'm like, hey, John, how are you? What's going on? How can I help you? He's like, Idan, listen, everything is perfect with the job. I'm just having a hard day. And you know what? When you came to our house, you brought something with you. And now when I'm going through a hard day, I feel like, you know what? Who can I reach out to? And I called you. I'm like, wow, okay, this is special. Right. So I spent some time with him on the phone. And then when we hanged up the call, I'm like, okay, it's not just saying it. As a company, we can really impact our client. We can really bring them some sense of hope, some sense of calmness, listening to clients, right? It's not a small thing. I mean, how many times you meet people or even husband and wife, like, can you just listen to me? Never listen to me, right?
Right.
So I recognize just being there for people and listen to them is a big deal. It's not something just to, oh yeah, just listen to you and on and on. No, it makes a difference in people's life. And after that phone call, I'm like, okay, this is the company that I want to be. That's what I mean by a fresh start. A fresh start, every moment carry unlimited amount of possibilities. When you going through a disaster, just a different perspective. Just letting somebody speak, just being there for somebody can make a huge difference, right? And the way I start communicating it is, look, I mean, and I'm seeing the mom, the husband and wife about to kill each other, and I'm thinking, if we created more mess and we didn't bring this calmness and the listening and everything that I described, how would the rest of their day will look like? Poor daughter, how would she do with all the stress and everything that's going on in the house, right? So this is one scenario if we're not really paying attention to the people in front of us. But what if we're showing up and we're really listening and we're really trying to be there for people? Look what a change we can bring into people's life. So that was for me a moment of, okay, this is the company I want to be.
Huge. This is epic here. This is huge for me to have such a powerful guest, a powerful speaker on the show and share the business, the start, your story, and the heart behind business. Business has become this robot, but it's not. It still has love, it still has support, it still has the human aspect behind of it. how can
Yeah.
people how can people connect with you? How can people learn more? How can people get connected to what you're doing? Because the train has left the station, but it's not too late for them to hop on board.
Yeah. So if somebody is interested in the franchise, there's 911restorationfranchise.com. For me, I'm more active on LinkedIn, and my name is very unique. So Idan Shpizear, and then it will be very easy to find me on LinkedIn. And for the people that want to get into the home service industry and they want to learn more, I wrote 3 books and I publish videos and everything, really helping people go through the process. And it's called Get Out of the Truck. and there is tons of free information and free tools. I took it on myself as a project when COVID started, just to try to add more value to people.
Huge. If you had that one more nugget in the hat, that young man, that young girl out in the audience that wanted to start a franchise but wasn't sure, right? They wasn't sure if they should not wait, they should go, they should do it. What would you say to them right now watching this?
So my thing is always go. There is no reason to wait. The waiting part is, what are you waiting for? But at the same time, I will say, see that this is something that is really aligned with you. Don't just chase things because they sound good, right? Don't just try to ride trends because it's the cool thing and people around you telling you that this is the cool thing. When you think about it as a long-term success, because it's very important to think in long-term, because many people are overestimating what they can do in 1 year, but underestimating what they can do in 10 years, right? So I see a lot of people trying to get in just because it sounds good. But then when you're going into something, when you understand your innate abilities, your strength, and you double down on your strength within a franchise system, just go for it. Don't wait.
Go for it. Don't wait. Just do it.
Just
do it. Thank you, sir. And let's put that website back on the screen. For our audio listeners, that's www.911restoration.com. Check it out. Get on board. Facebook, LinkedIn. He's on there. Connect with him. Incredible man. Well, we are out of time. We gotta let this incredible man go. He has many more lives to change and many more franchisees to help and many more customers to help across the globe. So this is truly epic. So I want to say this to you publicly. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This was a pleasure. You're awesome. Seriously. This was good.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you all for tuning in to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this message was helpful. I hope this was encouraging and inspiring you all to take action and be in charge of your life the same way Idan took charge of his. And he didn't let anything get in his way and stop him from achieving his goal and helping others. So thank you all for tuning in. This is like we end every show. Take care of your friends and take care of your family. This is your favorite host, Marcus of Gentleman Style Podcast, signing off. Love you guys. Bye.